A leg extension and leg curl machine is one of the most sought after strength accessory pieces and definitely one of the ones I get asked about the most frequently. This here is the Nautilus Instinct Dual Selectorized Leg Extension and Leg Curl Machine. Even though it has a commercial designation, it has a very small footprint, and I'd like to share with you my experience, some of the things I like, some things I don't like, and what we need to consider for all the leg extension leg curls we review coming in 2025. Let's check it out. Hey guys, this is Michael with the Jungle Gym Reviews. So today I want to start looking at some selectorized leg curl and extension options as I've reviewed a couple plate-loaded options in the past. Today, this is the Nautilus Instinct Leg Extension Leg Curl. It is a selectorized commercial version, although you can see it's pretty small here, and it mimics a lot of the ones you see available on the market today for a very similar price. We're going to get into the details here in a second and talk about why people like these type of machines and some of the things you need to consider when looking for one for your home gym. Before I get into the video, if you could please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, it'll continue to help us grow the channel. Make sure you get notified when we post our weekly reviews throughout the end of this year and every single week throughout 2025. I think a leg extension leg curl is honestly one of the biggest pieces that people miss when going to a home gym, because with barbells and dumbbells and cables, you can only do so much to isolate your legs. And a leg extension leg curl like this really allows you to isolate those movements, go heavy, progressively overload, and just make it easy to get in, get out. And honestly, it doesn't take up that much room. So all things considered, it's a pretty nice piece to have. The only downside is going to be the cost. In particular, there's a couple different kinds of leg extension leg curls. In the past, I reviewed a couple plate-loaded versions, one of them being the typical one you've seen popped up for the last few years, and that's just the Amazon import version of the plate-loaded leg extension leg curl, the one that doesn't have a very good resistance curve, and you have to use some sort of plate hack or something similar in order to make it feel pretty good in your home. They have newer versions now, like the RitFit one I reviewed recently, where it's actually cable driven, so it seeks to fix some of that resistance curve issues. But again, with the low price point these are offered at, it just doesn't quite feel that nice with the ergonomics, the build quality, some of the loadability, and other features around the machine. So really, the next viable option is this step up to this more commercial-oriented version, which is going to be a selectorized, dual leg extension leg curl with, much thicker padding, different back adjustments, obviously a weight stack, cable driven, some sort of cam, some counterweights, all these sorts of adjustments. That's really going to take it from feeling just like a definite home gym, it gets the job done, to a, wow, this feels as nice as a commercial machine. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the overall specs and what this machine offers, what it is. So again, it's the Nautilus Instinct Dual Leg Extension Leg Curl Machine. This is technically a commercial version. The normal going price for these, if you buy it new from some retailer, is about $3,000. Honestly, I've been really impressed with some of the features here. It has a 190-pound weight stack. It is a Nautilus lock and load technology. You may have been to several gyms that have something like this. You won't see a weight pin or any holes. It's simply just a little switch, and you move it from left to right, and it engages that weight. So it's really nice if you want to be able to jump from, let's say, 35 pounds all the way to 160 pounds. All you do is flip a switch, and whichever one is the lowest will be the maximum weight engaged. So I can just go all the way till the full weight of the stack is engaged and rock and roll from there. So it's pretty cool technology. The only downside to this I found is if you want to add any more weight to the weight stack, because it's not pin loaded, you can't put something like a bare steel weight stack pin or other brand in order to load plates onto, which is actually one of the big downsides of this machine, is that it's a 190-pound weight stack, but a 2-to-1 pulley ratio. So really you're only getting about 100 pounds, which is okay if you want to do super high reps. I can even do probably, 20 reps of these solidly on a good day. So if you're an actual strong person, that's going to be way too small of a weight stack. The other one is the overall footprint. I didn't take out a measuring tape and actually go into what it is, but very small profile. And I think all the best leg extension leg curls that we are going to want in our home gyms are going to have a very, very, very similar footprint. That is one of my qualms about the prone leg extension leg curl options rather than the seated options is you can do seated leg extensions, but when you want to flip that prone down, you now have to get it away from a wall or somewhere else where it's going to take up a little more room, even though it has a small original standing footprint. Before I get into the functionality of the machine, I do want to show you some of the adjustments so you can understand what I'm doing when I start to make these changes on the fly as I'm doing the movements. So down here at the bottom, you will see the leg roller. This is for bracing your feet when you do leg extensions, leg curls, which you'll see here. There's a pop pin on each end, both actually for the bottom leg roller and for the knee leg holder. All you do is pull that pop pin, and this has 4 different height adjustments depending on the height of the user. In my case, I do the lowest one since I'm tall and I have long legs at 6'2". This here, again, like I mentioned, is the leg holder pad. As you'll see, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different adjustments. Same thing, red pop pin on the end. It does roll and move. You pull the pop pin, you lock it at the height you want, and that's what is on top of your knees during the leg curl portion. Coming over here to the back pad is the other main adjustment. There's a couple different height settings. Long story short, handful of adjustments to adjust from my height all the way to, like I said, 5 foot something. As you'll see, it doesn't go past 4. I mean, it does. I can't get it past 4. This is one of my biggest gripes on this machine is for a $3,000 machine, first of all, have a better seat. Second of all, look at this. I mean, what is this? Forget any sort of bracing during leg extensions or leg curls. So honestly, that's pretty unacceptable for me. That's what I would expect from a $500 Amazon plate-loaded leg extension, leg curl, not a $3,000 commercial version that you see in the gyms. The last thing I want to show you on this side, as I mentioned before, is the cam and the counterweight. So the cam is where the pulley runs. This is what shapes the whole resistance curve and overall feel of the machine is this cam. So based on how this rotates when doing leg extension, leg curls, it's what the cable wraps around and then therefore provides certain parts of the resistance curve to be harder or easier. In addition to this counterweight, both of them work in tandem that once it gets to a certain point of the movement, the counterweight takes over, balances the resistance curve in addition to the cam. This is what you'll see on some really high-end machines. This is one of the things that makes dedicated leg extensions, leg curls so good. They usually have a very specific cam, especially commercial ones, and they're not just a circle because a leg extension, leg curl shouldn't necessarily just be even throughout the entire movement. It should have a different profile depending on what part you're in. For me, I like the most resistance at the lowest part of the portion. And then as you get very much up to the top to full lockout, it gets a little bit easier. This one does that and it feels really, really nice. But again, that's one of the nice things about having a dedicated leg extension machine or a dedicated leg curl machine is they can have very specific cams kind of dialed into each one of those movements. All right. So this red button, I'm gonna move this all the way over. Like I said, slot number 1 is leg extension. That's about 90 degrees right here. You can see, where the movement would be starting. I particularly really like the next one down, which gives you that little bit of pre-stretch here. Now I can just feel the squeeze already in my thighs before I've already started the movement. So honestly, this is one of the best features ever that I've ever seen on a leg extension leg curl machine, coupled with the angle of the seat itself, really just kind of maximizes this feel on this machine. Whew! It's fully maxed out, don't worry. So now that you've seen the leg extension, I'm gonna walk you through the leg curl. Get right back in your seat, pull that up to where it says leg curl. There is only one setting for this. Red pop pin, simply slide it down onto the knees. This one, and now you're locked in, ready to go. I will say this is one thing I really like again compared to some of the other machines I have is this is actually a pretty high leg curl angle. So, it kind of takes a sec to get up here. And when you put your legs up here, you can already feel that stretch in your hamstrings. Again, one of the things I've been really happy about this machine is this pre-stretch of both hamstrings and the quads. It gives you a much better overall range of motion. Obviously, in theory, maximizes muscle hypertrophy and just feels really, really good, which is one of the things I would like to see in many, many more of these machines because the plate-loaded versions and even these cable-driven plate-loaded versions definitely seem to lack a little bit when it comes to the overall range of motion and stuff like this, which is how well does it work as a leg extension and leg curl. there's trade-offs in everything, even this machine, but these movement patterns, these pre-stretches, targeting the muscles they're supposed to, is already a huge step in the right direction. So a couple things about this leg extension leg curl that I don't like. Foot pads is okay. These rollers, you really have to press down to get anything. So again, part of this whole commercial oriented thing is they're meant to just deal with a huge amount of people over time, but the rollers are just not comfortable. Like with me, man, it just does not feel good. Part of the reason I actually sold my Titan Fitness leg extension leg curl is because very similarly, they had very, very hard foam pads that just really, if they're in the wrong place or on a muscle belly, it really feels uncomfortable, and it makes loading heavy or doing the movement over and over again over time not desirable and not fun, honestly. So that's one of my gripes about this, is if this padding were nicer or more soft, it would feel a lot better. What happens is it kind of torques and twists your skin, and especially when your muscles are flexed, it kind of rolls up and down them. Just feels kind of awkward and really not that great. Number two is there needs to be some sort of handles or something to brace here. So when you see leg curl machines, usually there's some sort of handles here that are either straight or curled so that you can push back, because when you're doing a leg curl, it's naturally pulling you forward. So if I go to a heavier weight here, I have to push against this pad to keep my torso in place so that I'm not sliding. If I do this, my knees and everything, my hips, everything starts to slide forward. Just like this. I'm not doing this on purpose. It's just the weight of me generating the force for the curl simply pulls my whole body and torso towards it. And in reality, you have to hold something, which is just me bracing awkwardly this pad to keep my torso, my hips, everything in the same place for each rep. But again, as this is not very comfortable, it becomes very uncomfortable as you're doing this. Even though it's a 2-to-1, 190 pounds, that weight is still enough to make this uncomfortable over 3 sets, 4 sets, whatever that is. So I don't like that very much. The last one, besides the wobbly seat pad, besides the lack of different adjustments, seat pad itself being very, very firm. So same sort of thing goes when I'm doing leg extensions and even leg curls, but particularly for leg extensions, when you're in that fully stretched position, this is just so dense and so hard that it sometimes feels like someone just has a baseball bat up against the back of your hamstrings when you're trying to do leg extensions. And you're going really, really heavy right here. All that weight, you can see is against the back of your legs. So that honestly just gets really kind of hard. It feels okay. Honestly, it doesn't feel as bad to me as the leg curl brace pad does, but it's enough that, again, over time, it's like, this is just a tad uncomfortable. So overall, would I pay $3,000 for this machine? Absolutely not, knowing what I know now. Some of the downsides, like the padding and the lack of adjustments, are just not it for me. So for $1,000, which is really only $500 more, $600 more than a lot of the plate-loaded versions that we've either reviewed or are available on the market today, this is a great deal because it'll last a long time, it'll hold its resale value. All of those things are really good. Obviously, Nautilus knows what they're doing. They've been around for a while. They made this to be a good machine. I just think this is one of their more budget offerings for leg extension, leg curl. This one is more of their circuit, entry-level, commercial-oriented, hence the price, hence the compactness, and hence some of the trade-offs when it comes to the overall quality of the leg extension, leg curl machine. So guys, that's it for this review on the Nautilus Instinct Dual Leg Extension Leg Curl Combo Machine. As always, if you have any questions, please comment down below. I'll be happy to answer or at least try. Thank you for tuning into the Jungle Gym Reviews. We'll see you next time. Take it easy. Peace.